Hey guys, how are you doing today? It's P.E. Gilbert, your blogger, writing consultant, and the author to the fantasy novella, The Sultan's Daughter. And today, we are honoured to have an interview with Rivka Cohen. Rivka has written a section of, as well as compiled and edited in full, Monologues from the Makom, a contemporary anthology that deals with sexuality, gender, and body image, among other issues. I promise it is a fascinating interview, and here it is. Enjoy. So, tell us a bit about yourself. Where do you come from, and how has this place influenced your writings?
First of all, I just want to thank you so much for having me on your show. It's really an honor.
Oh, thank you. Pleasure's all mine.
I'm great. I'm from West Hempstead, New York. From a typical modern Orthodox upbringing, from my perspective.
Modern Orthodox
Jewish upbringing.
Lovely.
So I was raised with a lot of gendered events and taboo around sexuality. I went to an Orthodox Jewish summer camp where boys and girls were not allowed to touch at all, even for high fives, based on a Jewish law called Shmirat Negia, which literally means guarding your touch. And at summer camp, I decided to take that on myself as a young religious girl. And at age 12, I decided that I wasn't going to touch boys ever again until marriage. And that was a big deal and a formative experience in my life. And that's something that I talk a lot about in my writings.
Wow, that is some commitment at the age of 12. You have written sections of, as well as edited and compiled the book, Monologues from the Makom, intertwined narratives of sexuality, gender, body image, and Jewish identity, which is due out in September the 1st, yes?
Correct.
What does Monologues from the Makom mean, and does it only apply to Jewish people or other people outside of the faith?
So Monologues from the Makom is actually a play on the Vagina Monologues, a well-known play by Eve Ensler. Sarah Rosner Lawrence, who is the founder of Monologues from the Makom project, attended the Vagina Monologues. She's also an Orthodox Jew like myself, and she felt really inspired and empowered by the Vagina Monologues, but felt like she wanted to create one of her own for the Orthodox Jewish community. So she invited her friends, other Orthodox women, and other observant Jewish women to create their own monologues and perform their own sort of Jewish vagina monologues. And they called it Monologues from the Makom. Makom means, in Hebrew, it means, Makom is Hebrew and it means the place, but in the Talmud, it's used as a euphemism to mean vagina. So we're intending to reclaim the word that the Talmudic scholars use to sort of sanitize and not have to say the word vagina as if it's a dirty word or a taboo place. So we're reclaiming that word by using it in our play on the Vagina Monologues. And as to whether this is just for Jews, I would say the answer is no. I think that a lot of people, women in particular, can find a lot that resonates to them from this book, especially women who have experiences from practicing other religions. But really it's for everyone to get a glimpse into the lives and experiences and thoughts and feelings of Orthodox Jewish women and how we relate to gender and body image and sexuality.
Sounds like a fascinating anthology you've got there. Wow, that's going to be some insight and some book. You have collaborated with other talented people for this book. How did you find them, and how did you initially pitch the book to them?
I originally got involved when I was working as program manager at a nonprofit called JOFA, which is the Jewish Orthodox Feminist Alliance. And we partnered with Sarah Rosner-Lawrence on the Monologues from the Makom project, and I got to attend some of their events through my work at JOFA. And at some point we decided that we wanted to take the experience of this play and turn it into a book for a much larger audience to get more people involved and spread the conversation. So I worked together with Sarah and Rebecca Zemelover, who has a great passion towards talking about sexuality in the Orthodox world, joined the team while we were still at JOFA. And then Naima Hirsch is someone that we recruited. She's a poet and a writer. We recruited her to join the editing team when we decided to turn it into an independent project. And then we also have Sarah Ricklin, who has the most keen eye for detail. She joined the project when we started advertising, asking people for submissions. She submitted a piece and also asked how else she could get involved. And I feel really, really fortunate to have worked with all of these amazing, incredible women.
And I'm sure they'll say the same about you, Rivka, as well. You seem very passionate about this project, like the rest of them, and that's what matters most.
Definitely.
Who is the target audience for this book? I feel like you've answered this question already, but if there's something else you want to say, something you haven't said already, please let us know.
Sure. I mean, the main target audience is definitely women from the Orthodox Jewish community, from the observant Jewish community, because it will definitely resonate most with them. But I think that it's just as important for men and other leaders of the Jewish community to read this work and get a glimpse into our lives and experiences. And like I said before, I think that people of all faiths can definitely learn from it, and these ideas and themes will resonate.
Good. Your front cover is very interesting and artsy. It certainly holds one's attention, which is what you want from a front cover after all. How did you come up with the book's cover?
So I didn't come up with the book's cover. The cover is a piece by Amalia Sherman. She actually created this art piece before she even knew about the book. She shared with us that a friend had actually commissioned her to create a piece that she could gift to her gynecologist. And she came up with this sort of internal, external vulva reproductive system mashup. And she loved it so much that she made a bigger version and hung it up in her apartment, which is where I saw it. And together, the other editors and I decided that this would be the perfect cover art for our work. And I'm really grateful that Amalia allowed us to use her piece.
Well done to you for choosing that, because it is striking. It gets to the heart of what your book is about.
Absolutely.
How long did it take you to write your section of monologues, and what research did you do?
The entire project took about 3 years, which is crazy looking back. There were many lulls, and it took a long time to go through revisions with 32 different pieces in the book. So it took a while to get it all together. My piece, I wrote a few years prior to when I submitted it to the project, but I updated and worked on it more as the book came to be. I actually had originally written it as a slam poem, which would have been fitting for the Monologues from the Makom event, but I did not have the confidence to perform it. So I'm really glad that turning this into a book provided me with the space to put those ideas and experiences into print.
What three things inspired you to write your book, or at least your section of Makom, Monologues in the Makom?
The first thing that I'll say is definitely my experiences with Shmirat Nagia, of not touching boys and deciding that at age 12. That's something that has shaped my life. Not to be dramatic, it's shaped my relationship to sexuality, to men, to my body, and there were also a number of other negative associations that I had about sexuality and gender from growing up in the Orthodox community. And so my piece in the book is about the first time that I, quote unquote, broke Shomer and touched my boyfriend for the first time. And I'm glad that I had the opportunity to put that experience into words. My second inspiration, which all goes hand in hand, honestly, was attending the Monologues from the Makom event and just seeing all of the women who were presenting and feeling so empowered by all of them. It really made me feel like I also wanted to share, and made me feel like I wasn't alone in all of these thoughts that I was having. And lastly, the other authors of the book. I knew I wanted to write a piece for the book that I was editing and publishing, but I didn't submit my final piece until after some of the other pieces came in. If no one had contributed or they were all terrible, I never would have continued on with this project. So definitely reading everyone else's pieces and seeing how mine fit in was really inspiring.
Wow, that's three very good and inspiring reasons. I'm sure that will come across in the book when it comes out on the 1st of September, and many people will appreciate that. If you could highlight two things that you'd like people to take away from the book, what are they?
First of all, we need to talk about sex. We need to not have it be a taboo. When we pretend that sex is a dirty word, or that it's something that should be not spoken of until marriage, it doesn't work, honestly, and it really affects people negatively. You can't just flip a switch once you have a ring on your finger and suddenly all of the negative associations around sexuality and gender and body image just go away because you're married. It doesn't work like that. Also, plenty of people are being sexual before marriage, and it's a reality that we need to live with, and we need to talk about, especially because not discussing it, first of all, abstinence only education, there have been many studies, it doesn't work, and it just leads to more issues. If you're not talking about sex, you're not talking about consent, and that's a huge issue. So that's definitely a major part of what I hope people get out of the book. I hope that people start having these conversations more. And also that we need to listen to women more. A lot of the pieces in the book, whether directly or indirectly, speak to feelings of inferiority in the Jewish community as women, feeling less than, feeling out of place, and I really hope that Jewish leaders can read this book and take it to heart, and we can make a change.
I hope it's not Jewish leaders that take this to heart, but also world leaders and other community leaders, because I think the issues,
Absolutely.
the topics that you've raised just in this answer alone are universal for so many
100%.
different kinds of faiths and communities. And I really hope that those messages come across in a really powerful way that I think you've put forward.
Absolutely. I also remember in college being surprised talking to other friends of mine, either who went to Catholic school or even public school, who all of them said that they had a terrible sex education, and it's just unacceptable.
Fair enough. I have no idea what that kind of education was for you, but if you're saying that's the case and you feel there is a gap, so to speak, that sounds terrible in the context of what of the topic of the book that you're bringing up here. But if there is a gap, then it needs to be filled. That sounds even worse.
100%.
And well done to you for finding it and doing it in such a productive and constructive way.
Thank you.
On a meta level, what does Monologues from the Makom mean to you?
So I don't know if this is meta, but personally, even 5 years ago, I could not have imagined writing a piece about my experiences and publishing a book like this. It would have been unfathomable. And I say this as someone who started working on this book 3 years ago. So it's really, for me, the book is also a personal reflection on how much I've grown in just the past few years. And I really hope that it helps other people do the same.
That very much is an answer on a meta level. So yeah, and that's wonderful to hear that you feel and you see that with this book, how much you have grown. Well done to you, Rivka. Well done. If you could go back in time and speak with a younger Rivka Cohen, what advice would you give her about the writing process?
Honestly, I would just give her a pep talk. I won't lie to you, this has been frustrating at times, going through all of the editing and the nagging and the back and forth and dealing with publication and advertising. I felt like all the time there were new challenges, and I would just go back and tell her, don't worry, it's all going to be worth it. It hasn't even been published yet, and all of the positive feedback that we've received already really makes me feel like it was 1,000% worth my time. And so I would just go and tell younger me that, and to remember the larger goal here.
Good advice. What did you find was the hardest part of writing Monologues from the Makom?
Again, I feel like there were always new challenges. I came into this completely blind. I had no idea what it meant to publish a book. None of us did. So all of the revisions and finding a publisher and dealing with sales and everything like that, I feel like I've learned so much, and I'm so grateful for it. But I really had no idea what I was jumping into. Though now that I know, I'm glad that I did it.
Brilliant. And I'm sure next time round, if there is a next time, you'll find there are a whole host of more problems that you didn't come across this time. It's all part of it. But well done
Of
to you.
course.
Well done for doing all of this and going in literally into the dark and finding your way. It's so hard and so challenging. You know, congratulations. You've made it. You're out on the other side.
Woohoo!
What is your writing kryptonite?
I would say my writing kryptonite is perfection. The the biggest stumbling block for me in my writing is making sure that I had exactly the right words and I used exactly the right story and the exact right descriptors, and that really just cuts me off. And so when I'm able to let go of perfection and just write and just speak my mind on paper, and then go back and do minor edits, but just maintain the original content that just came pouring out of my brain, is honestly the best way for me to go about writing, and not get too bogged down in the tiny perfect details that no one else is going to notice, probably.
You're probably right, and that's a very mature outlook as well. How has writing changed you as a person?
With this project, I reflected on some major experiences in my life, things that are integrally a part of me, and writing about this really helped me to think about and process my experiences in a unique way, and really emboldened me and empowered me. I feel like having published a book like this, I definitely need to practice what I preach, and I feel empowered to be a person who speaks openly about gender, body image, and sexuality in a positive way. And I'm grateful that the project has empowered me and forced me to do that.
That's amazing. Truly amazing. Just keep feeling empowered. Practice what you preach, obviously, but keep feeling empowered and be that role model that others can look up to. And if others have an issue they wouldn't want to discuss with their peers, let's say, they know they can go to you. It's a wonderful feeling just to have someone like that, someone so easily accessible and wonderful to be around as well.
Thanks.
My pleasure. It's you who have transformed, not me. Are you writing another book at present? If so, could you please tell us a bit about it? And would you ever consider writing a story like a novel about the issues you discuss in Monologues from the Makom?
I'm not currently working on anything else. Definitely many people have reached out saying they wish they had known about this book from the beginning so that they could have contributed, and asking if there's a sequel. So we haven't even published and people want a sequel. So that's definitely in the cards. I would love to make that happen. Not yet though. Give myself a little space to breathe. And even men are asking about if they can write pieces that would be included in a sequel, and that's something that I'm open to. So hopefully we can also empower men to talk about sexuality in a healthy way. And as far as a novel or other story about the experiences in this story, I've done a little bit of thinking about writing a story of my own. It would definitely be anecdotal, but nothing yet. So stay tuned.
I will definitely stay tuned. Have no worries about that. And it sounds amazing what you've got going. It's, it must be so wonderful. So such a vindication of all that you've done to hear people say, before it's even come out, when's the sequel? That is absolutely incredible in the true sense of the word, because it's beyond belief. Lastly, and I cannot believe we're on the last question already, outside of writing, what do you like to do?
So right now I'm in quarantine and I'm spending all of my free time doing book publicity and watching Lucifer. But I'm a social butterfly at heart. I love hanging out with friends, meeting new people. I've been having lonely dance parties every night. And I also love to sing. So I hope that I will have an opportunity to do that again sometime soon. Even just to go to a karaoke bar. Hopefully we can do that again soon.
And that's all I have for you today, guys. Thank you for watching, and I really hope you have enjoyed this interview with Rivka Cohen. Like, comment, and hit that subscribe button, and tell me, what did you make of the interview? Do you agree with Rivka when she says that it is really important to discuss matters like sexuality, gender, and body image? In the description below, I have left links to Rivka's book and to her social media accounts. If reading about the experiences of women who have not always felt comfortable discussing the above-mentioned matters is something that piques your interest, then check out Monologues from the Makom. It sounds absolutely fascinating, the reviews have been excellent, and it comes out on September the 1st. Moreover, my debut fantasy novella, The Sultan's Daughter, is out. If you enjoy reading a book that is short, fast-paced, and full of suspense, then check it out. I have left a link in the description below for that as well. Otherwise, until next time, keep well. Once again, guys, I just wanted to say thank you so much for watching my video. I really appreciate it and I hope you've enjoyed it. Hit that subscribe button and then you will be the first to receive more awesome content from my channel, and I hope to see you again soon.